Hey, what's up, guys? Blake from Top Dog Digital here. Today, I wanted to go over some Facebook strategies that you can use and also review a couple of ads that we pulled up and give you guys kind of a run through of what to have in your ads, what maybe not to have in your ads, to give you a better idea of what works and what really doesn't work in regards to advertising on Facebook. This is coming from somebody who runs hundreds of thousands of dollars per year of ads on Facebook for the junk removal community. So I got a little bit of an extensive background in this. And unfortunately, on a daily basis, I see a lot of ads come through my news feed in junk removal that are missing all or at least some of the major components that you want to have included in your ad. So without further ado, let's dive in. So here you can see I'm using AdSpy to kind of review some junk removal ads for you. And I'll do a deep dive on a couple of these to really give you guys some ideas and kind of review some of those ads to show what's missing and what can be done better in those ads. So you can see there's a ton of different ads here that I'm able to see, but I had already pulled up a few for you to get things kicked off. So we'll start with one of the ones who came up, low-cost hauling. If you're watching this, no offense. I'm not taking shots at you guys. Hopefully, if you do see this video, this is helpful. It's a company that came up, and you can see, they're running a lot of Facebook ads here. 14 different campaigns, to be exact, that have been running since at least last month. One of the main advantages to Facebook in comparison to Google is that you can market at a much lower cost than Google and get some traction. So if you've ran any ads on Google, for junk removal, you know that to compete, it's a very competitive platform. Most of the people we speak to who are running ads or run ads with us have to have a minimum budget of typically at least $1,000, probably usually closer to $1,500 in a month. So not everybody in the industry has that starting off or even, a year or two in. So Facebook can be a strategy that can be utilized for marketing that's a little bit lower cost and can be effective. What I will say is that it is not for everyone. As someone who's ran ads in a ton of different markets, there are some areas that Facebook ads do not work as well for than they do in others. The lead cost varies significantly depending on the area you're in. What I will say, though, is that I would say due to the lower cost, it's at least worth a test in your market to see if it's working for you. Usually for our clients, we run typically about $20 a day, just to give you a general idea of the cost differences between Facebook and Google. Now, with that being said, Google has some advantages over Facebook in regards to the quality of customers that come in. So with Facebook, what you're really looking to do is, to be able to spend a little bit less on the platform and get more people coming in than you would through Google, and having a process to take someone from intrigue and wanting to know more about your company and junk removal to actually closing the deal, right? So in regards to getting that activity and getting someone to pretty much raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in junk removal, there are a few main components that you're going to want to have in the Facebook ad. So let's go over low cost here, and we'll take a look at some of their ads. So this is a really good example, guys, because this is very commonly what I see in most of the ads in junk removal. Typically, guys, you'll put a little something together, you'll boost a post, put it out there, get some traffic to it, and hopefully get some jobs, right? The only problem is that even with a boost post, and if you ran ads to like an audience who has no idea who you are, especially, these type of advertisements will not work because they're missing some major things. So let's go over that. Number one, when somebody's on Facebook, they do not get on Facebook to look for junk removal, right? Like, no one has ever gotten on Facebook and said, you know what, I opened up this app today because I really want to find a junk removal ad. So with that being said, we have to understand that the number one thing for us to do to start off is to get their attention. They're on their feed, they're scrolling. So we have to get them to stop their scroll and pay attention to our ad. And realistically, they're not going to see any of this until this at least catches their eye right here, either your image or your video. And that's probably the biggest thing that most people are missing. Usually, it's very common like this. A picture of a dumpster, usually a logo, a truck or trailer. Not really sure. This is kind of unique. I'm not really sure what they were shooting for here with this image. I'll take a look at a few others. I guess some, gravel, dirt and gravel here. Some items. So you can see that, they're split testing all kinds of different images here. And realistically, most of these images are not going to get someone to stop scrolling and capture their attention. And because of that, they're not going to get a lot of traffic to this ad, because realistically, if you can't get them to pause here, they're probably never going to see any of this. All right. So that's step one. It's really an engaging photo or video. Me personally, I prefer video because video is something that it's going to play when they're on their news feed. It's going to get their attention right off the bat. And the idea, like I said, is to get their attention. Doesn't mean I need to have a video that they watch the whole 30 seconds or full minute. I just want to get them to stop scrolling and get their attention, so then they take the next step and look at what we have to offer and look at our ad copy. Okay, so I recommend video. And when I say video, you want it to be something that, is easy to look at. You don't want to put together this like drone video that gets somebody dizzy, which I've seen before. We like animated videos. I think they're engaging and they're unique. Unique's always my biggest factor. I think if you want to get somebody's attention, you probably want to do something that they haven't seen before or something different. And that's always a good strategy to use. So think of something that is eye-catching, but that not every other junk removal company is running, such as, like before and afters are very common. I would go with something a little bit more specific to you and engaging, even on the photo side. If you've got a logo that pops, maybe placing that strategically in your image and having some bright text in there. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. And I'll probably dive a little bit deeper on that in another video and show you some examples, but that's just to give you a general idea. So that's number one. Then number two, and I don't want to pick on low cost here, so I'll show you guys a few others. I know JG Junk Removal had popped up on my feed. You can see the ad copy's pretty similar for most. It's kind of just a simple paragraph, goes over a little bit about junk. I'll use Empire Hauling as an example too. As you can see, same thing. It's like 2 or 3 sentences, so one paragraph. Not a whole lot there that's really engaging and take you to the next step. So what you really want to do, number one, is you want to attract your audience right at the top of your copy. So for me, when I think of something like that, I'm looking for somebody who needs junk removed. So I usually start off with, do you need junk removed? Or do you have bulk items that you need removed? Anything like that. I normally just keep it very simple, and I'll say, do you need junk removed? Quick question, big statement. Okay, yes. Obviously, if the answer is yes, then they're going to continue reading. That's what I'm looking for. So that's where I start. I like to space things out in my ads. So whereas most will put like a lot of stuff in one paragraph and kind of clunk it all together. Let me see if I can show you guys some more examples of what I mean by that. Something like this. So like this is a lot. As it loads here, I'll so you can see it full screen. This is a lot to read. It's in caps, which I don't prefer, and I would rather break this out in smaller chunks and make it easier for someone to read. So number one, like I would probably use some fun emojis here to help it stand out. Some whether it could be some an emoji of a checklist, checklist emoji, or even emojis that relate to what they're saying here. I would do something like that, a little bit more fun and engaging. But you want to make it easy to read. And most people are going to be kind of like this, and they'll put up a couple of different paragraphs. I would prefer to single it out, almost the opposite of what your English teacher taught you to do, and make it easy to read. Okay? You don't need too much on here. Don't overwhelm them. Just state the basics of what you're doing, what you offer, and what your call to action is. All right? So a good layout of that would be, do you need junk removed? Start off there, right? Right at the top. Then follow up, let them know a little bit about your company. So this is, my company name. Here's what we do in said area. So let them know where you're at. So, in the San Diego area, in Chicago, wherever you are, let them know that. So that's important. And then dive into what you do. So for instance, here, I would give a layout like this, but I would just do it a little bit more cleaner. So I would say, we offer junk removal service, furniture removal, appliance removal, house and garage cleanouts, mattress removal. And I'd probably limit this to about 6 or 7 things at most. This is a little too much here. You don't need to lay out every single service you provide. Just give them a general idea of what you can provide. And, don't go overly detailed with that. And then the next step that you'll see here that they're missing for this example is a call to action. So for them, it just has a phone number on here, right? One of the tips I want to give you guys is Facebook, you're not going to get a lot of phone calls. This isn't Google. With Facebook, it's a lower barrier to entry, a lower intent. So they didn't actively seek you. And a phone call is something that someone on a higher level of intent typically will perform. So with Facebook, I like to make it as easy as possible, yet as little intimidation as possible. So when I say as little intimidation as possible, what I mean is I want to make it simple for them, but also something that I know they would be definitely willing to do to get the conversation started. And usually what I like to do, and what I see most people do as well, is have a message to the page. So typically, I think they had it here. Yeah, so here, this is a good call to action here. You send the message. Because that's not requiring too much from the customer. They send a message, and they're going to be more likely to do that than give you a phone call of a Facebook. What I would typically do, though, is here you'll see it says send message, but I actually had that in the ad. So my call to action would be, click send message below to get your free estimate today. Something as simple as that. Or have an offer. Click send message below to save 10% off on your junk removal. Whatever the case may be for your company. All right. So you want to make sure you have a clear call to action. I would say preferred would be a Facebook message or a lead form. You can also do lead form ads where they can fill out their information, their name, phone number, email if you'd like it. And, as long as you have a back-end system that takes in those leads and you can reach out to them, you could also go that route. I would recommend Messenger for most of you because, it's organized inside your business page. You can go through your messages, reach right back out to them. Plus, it'll show up on your phone as well. And, it's a very easy way for the customer. All they got to do is click send message and let you know what they need removed. An attachment to that would be, if you do set that up, you can actually set up automated prompts to where when somebody does message the page, you can start the conversation as soon as they message. So usually what we'll do is when they click send message, it'll have their name. It'll say, hey, John, hey, Jim, hey, Blake. Thank you for contacting company name. Please let us know what you need removed, and we'll be back to you shortly. Something as simple as that. Okay, guys? So that's really the main things I wanted to go over today. I don't want this video to run too long, but just wanted to give a couple of simple tips on Facebook and some things that I see that I wanted to correct for some of you if you're doing this now. Number one, an engaging photo or video to get their attention. Realize that is a huge part of the picture, probably the most important part. Number two, your ad copy. Making sure that, number one, you call out your audience. So, hey, Houston homeowners, do you need junk removed? Hey, Houston, do you need junk removed? Hey, Chicago, or do you need junk removed? You can call it the location. You can simply say, do you need junk removed at the top? Then from there, lay out the services you provide and a little bit about your company. Don't get overly detailed. Keep it simple. Lay out those details in there. And then at the bottom, have a call to action. Click send message below to get your free junk removal estimate. Click send message below to set up a free on-site estimate, whatever that case may be. Click send message below to save 10% today on your junk removal. Now, you can get crafty with that and creative. Again, simplicity is key. Keep it simple. Let them know what you want them to do so they can easily take action. All right. So hopefully those small tips help you guys. There's a lot more involved than just that, but I wanted to go over some simple strategies and techniques that I see are missing on most ads and bring that to your attention. That way, if you're currently running Facebook ads or you're looking to do so, hopefully this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Again, it's Blake, Top Dog Digital Solutions. I'll be putting together a little bit more content in regards to Facebook ads and junk removal ads. I'll get a little bit more detailed on some of this stuff, but hopefully this helps you guys for today.